Bonjour tout le monde, this is Walk with Travel and Leisure, and this is the grand tour by Tour Voir Québec in Old Quebec City. In today's tour, we will see a lot of things, but we'll start with strolling down the Dufferin Terrace, then we'll get to see one of the most photographed hotels in the world. We'll have a little extra to see a little bit of our food. Alors, c'est parti! Quebec City is a French city in North America. It's often said that we are the accent of America because we have a very strong French accent, just like mine right now. Quebec City was officially founded in 1608 by Samuel de Champlain. And by the way, it's the man on the statue just over there. Quebec City has a complicated history, if you want. We were French from 1608 all the way to 1759. Then in 1759, the British managed to take over the city. And in 1867, we became independent. And what's funny about Samuel de Champlain is that this is not his real face, even though I would love it to be his real face because he looks a little bit like me. He's one of the rare men that crossed the Atlantic Ocean up to 23 times. Keep in mind that crossing the Atlantic Ocean was a difficult feat and it can take up to 3 months. So we are now on the Dufferin Terrace, probably one of the most beautiful boardwalk you can think of in the country. There's a beautiful wooden slide right there, and you go down using a toboggan or a wooden sleigh. Here behind me is the Chateau Frontenac, and it was always an hotel. It was built by the Canadian Pacific Railroad Company. The building itself was modified many times throughout the year, and the last big addition is the main tower built in the late 1920s. So the Jacquet House here was built in 1677, making it one of the oldest houses still standing in North America. This is a very typical French architecture with a very steep roof and covered with a whitewash mortar. It's a restaurant named Aux Anciens Canadiens, which is also the title of a novel, which is considered to be one of the first novels written here by Philippe Aubert de Gaspé. An extra on our walking tour today, that's usually in our food tour, La Buche, some of the most traditional food we can think of when we think about Quebec's culture. So let's go in. If you look at the setup, it's inspired by the sugar shack, so wood, snowshoes, fur, and the food is incredible. Oh, thank you. This is a cheese fondue. And we had a little special today. It was served with the caribou. The caribou is a very typical drink from the Winter Carnival here in Quebec City, one of our biggest festivals in the city. It's in the dead cold of February, and to keep themselves warm, they used to drink a very warm wine mixed with different liquors and spices. It's a little messy, but we can taste the bacon, and to be honest, the bacon here is my favorite part of every meal. Oh my God, this was good! So now let's go to the Morrin Centre. The Morrin Centre right here was first founded as a prison. And not only a simple prison. So basically this is one of the first prisons in Canada where they used the prison as a sentence in itself to try and reform the prisoners into becoming better citizens by hard work and something more constructive than being lashed or whatever. But since the prison was way too small and it was way too easy to escape, the prison was transformed and it became a university. And what's very interesting about this place is if you're to go inside and visit it, well, you still have some cell block, but it's nowadays more of a library and cultural center. and that's the cultural center for the English community in the city. Even if many of them left, we still have a community here, and that's one of their favorite gathering place. So from this corner, we can see many things. First of all, here up front, Quebec's City Hall. Right behind me, we also have a big building. This is called the Price Building. It is the only skyscraper. I know it is a small one, but it's the only skyscraper in the area. And the reason why it's the only skyscraper is because people did not find it very beautiful. They did not like the high-rise types of building. So there's rules and regulation now that makes it impossible for larger construction to reach that high. So here we have the Basilica-Cathedral Notre-Dame de Quebec, one of our major churches here in Canada. There was supposed to be two big main towers. Sadly, the left tower was a little too weak. In the main tower right there, we have a really huge bell, which we call in French le gros bourdon. In English, it would be like the big bumblebee. The name pretty much comes with the sound. It is a very, very loud bell. Apart from the inside decoration of the church, which is in itself amazing, this church is very, very unique because it's the only church in North America that have what we call an holy door, une porte sainte. It's a door that's open only every 25 years and which Catholic people and others can cross to enter in communion with the Lord and the other people of the community. Welcome to Quebec Seminary. Monseigneur François de Laval, the first bishop of Quebec, wanted to create a small seminary where he can train priests in the New World. And if you look at the building on this side, we can see on the last floor, next to some of the windows, that there is some hooks kind of hanging out over the wall. That's because that's where the student used to pull their big box of all their furnitures and clothes and whatever. They needed to pull it up through these windows. The students used to call this place Siberia because it was not well insulated and it was pretty cold in winter. Quebec City was built on a cliff, so it's a city on two levels. Up the cliff we have what we call Upper Town, and down the cliff we have what we call Lower Town. This street is Petit Champlain Street, and if you like window shopping, that's the gem you want to visit since it's one of the most beautiful merchant streets in Canada. It's a cooperative merchant street, so they all work together to make sure it's a beautiful place. In fact, they won the prize of being the most beautiful merchant street in Canada already. We have those warm spots, so a beautiful little fireplace like this, and we have some of these spots in every neighborhood this year. Doesn't show us on the screen, but right now it's about minus 15 degrees Celsius. Ugh. After window shopping in Petit Champlain, what's better than sugar? So let's go try le sucre à la crème at the Fudgerie. Every children in the province of Quebec, when they think of their grandmother, there's one thing that comes to mind, and it's le sucre à la crème. Sucre à la crème is a little bit like fudge, except it's made of butter and brown sugar. And if you're crazy, you can also put a little bit of maple syrup into it. So it's very good. And that's what we're going to taste right here at La Fudgerie. And it's my personal favorite. So let's go in, let's go see what they have for us. So La Fudgerie specialized in fudge, so it's not all about sucre à la crème. But we are here for the sweet stuff. My grandma's favorite and my favorite, le sucre à la crème. And here we go. And that's the stuff. It is very, very good. Quebec's people are very welcoming and very friendly, but we are not perfect. It is said that we can sometimes be very bad driver. And I can prove it. If you look at this wall right here, we can see that the bottom part has a rounded shape, but its upper part is at a perfect 90-degree angle. The reason for that is pretty simple. We wanted to make sure that people could not destroy their carriage wheel on the corner while doing a tight turn here. Instead of changing your driving habits, just modify the architecture. Quebec City Saint-Pierre Street here is probably one of the rare places in North America where you can see a little bit of every era of architecture of the continent, basically. So on one hand, you start with French classical architecture, and the further you go down the street, it's quickly changed to a more modern, and you can see everything in between. So if you love architecture, it's one of the rare places where you can actually walk through it. Bienvenue à la Place Royale. This is a sentence that many people that came to the New World heard. La Place Royale, or the Royal Place, is probably one of the oldest town square in North America. And we can see the old church. This is the exact location where Samuel de Champlain first founded its trading post. It was first made of wood, which is not a good idea when it's as cold as Canada can be sometimes. And so there was a huge fire, and then everything had to be rebuilt out of stone. But look at this, isn't that amazing? And this is the king, but not any king. This one is Louis XIV, or Louis XIV. He's the one that declared our colony a royal colony. So in Quebec, if you dream of becoming Insta-famous, that's the place where you want to come and take your shot. This is the Quebecers' Fresco. It's a fresco that was painted by a group of artists over a long period of about 9 weeks. And this shows most of the historic character of the city. So we can see Samuel de Champlain, we can see Jacques Cartier, Louis Joliette, and my favorite one, Félix Leclerc. He's a folk singer and I really love his music. Going down St. John Street, it is the place where you really want to be for lunch here in Quebec City. Lots of gift shop, again window shopping, restaurants, bakeries, and at the end, the beautiful St. John Gate. The St. John Gate is part of a defensive system here in Quebec City. Quebec City is a fortified city, meaning that there's a 4.6-kilometer wall that surrounds the upper part of the city. And because of this, it is part of the World UNESCO Heritage Sites. It is the only fortified city north of Mexico that kept its wall. Obviously, the doors had to be modified so it can accommodate cars. I told you we had a surprise in store for you today. It's a surprise made out of 2,000 ice blocks and 15,000 tons of snow. Welcome to Valcartier's Ice Hotel. And it's not just for display. You can actually sleep here. It's one of the best places you can do so. First of all, fresh air is very good for you. Plus, it's pitch black and noiseless. You can also drink a good cocktail at the bar, but more than that, you can organize a wedding here because they have their own snow and ice chapel. So it's a must-see around Quebec City. So welcome to the Ice Hotel. Woohoo! Ah! Whew. Every year they rebuild this place. It takes up to 6 weeks and there's a different theme. This year's theme, as we can see, is a journey into a surreal world. Isn't it surreal enough? what's very cool with the Ice Hotel is the fact that every room is different, especially the suites, which are all sculpted and they're amazing. Look at the details in the sculpture. And party a little, why not? Here's the bar. So this concludes our tour today, and apart from the Ice Hotel, everything you've seen in today's video is accessible by foot, so I strongly recommend that when visiting Quebec City you take a walking tour. Thank you for walking with Travel and Leisure. I hope to see you one day in Quebec City. Merci, au revoir.